Welcome to a special episode this week where I found 91 random but absolutely mental facts, mate, about the beautiful game. Don't forget to comment your own interesting facts below, not about you, about football. I mean, they could be about you if you want, but 1.
In 2014, the Netherlands ended an 18-year run of having a van in their starting 11.
2. In 1954, Motherwell and Dumbarton combined to score 10 goals by half-time. It ended 6-all. 3. Andy Selva is the only man to ever score a winning goal for San Marino. He's also their best ever goal scorer with a whopping 8 goals. 4. The entire population of San Marino could fit into Middlesbrough's ground. Their record is 1 win, 6 draws and 117 defeats. 5. Forget about Ronaldo. Fernando Peirotio was probably Portugal's best ever player, scoring 332 goals in 197 games at club level. 6. No country has ever won the World Cup when the Pope has been from the same country. 7. Martin O'Neill is in his 9th managerial job, but he has only ever been sacked once, by the club he supported as a boy. 8. Gianfranco Zola is the only player to be sent off on his birthday at a World Cup finals. 9. Finland's Jari Litmanen is the only footballer to play international football in 4 different decades, making his debut in 1989 and playing his last game in 2010. 10. Correct me if I'm wrong, because it was really hard to find, but Cuba hold the record for greatest difference in their FIFA ranking, being 46th in 2006 and currently 181st now. 11. PSV Eindhoven have had the longest ever shirt sponsorship with electronics giant Philips, although it makes sense when you learn PSV initially started life as the company's work team. 12.
Only 9 players have ever won both the Copa Libertadores and the UEFA Champions League.
And one of them is Danilo. You scored a banger against Burnley, mate, but you really are absolute womble. 13. Apparently Sergio Batista and Gattuso are the only 2 players to win the World Cup whilst wearing a full beard. 14. After the Munich air disaster, Santiago Bernabeu offered United the legendary Alfredo Di Stefano on loan to help them rebuild. The FA blocked the move because it was considered a place that could instead be used by another British player. Oh dear. 15. Paul Merson said that himself and Paul Gascoigne would play a game after training where they would buy red wine and sleeping pills before betting thousands of pounds on who would fall asleep first. 16. I would just like to dedicate this fact to the most tragic haircuts that football has ever seen. Enjoy. 17. When Stefan Schwartz signed for Sunderland, he had a clause in his contract which banned him from flying into space. 18. Argentina, Scotland and France are the only 3 countries to have broken the world record transfer fee outside of Italy, England and Spain. 19. In 1986, West Ham's Alvin Martin managed to score a hat-trick against 3 keepers in one game. Newcastle's 2 other keepers in that game were actually outfield players as they didn't have a keeper on the bench. 20. China banned the Football Manager game in 2005 as that year's version included Taiwan and Tibet. We now take a short break from our usual programming to bring you Comment of the Week. Here we have Cartoon Network's Ben 10 who wants to let you all know is real. Sex isn't fake. That's what he's trying to get at, I think. Also, there were lots of lovely comments last week, so thank you all. I do appreciate them. 21. David Ginola may be known for his time in the North East and North London, but his name is actually an anagram of vagina dildo. Use that information wisely. 22.
In 1983-84, Romania's 3rd Division's first place and last place were separated by only 10 points. There were only 2 points between second place and relegation.
23. Mark Hughes once played for Wales and Bayern Munich in the same day. He played for Wales at midday in Czechoslovakia before Uli Hoeneß flew him over the border, ready for the start of the second half against Borussia Mönchengladbach. 24. Since 1982, at least one Bayern player has been in the starting lineup in every World Cup final. 25. A European country has reached every World Cup final apart from 2. 26. Before Sir Alex Ferguson took over Man United, Aston Villa were a more successful club. 27. In Gaelic, Aberdeen's ground essentially translates to shit heap. Their ground was built in 1899 on a site where police horses would poo. 28. Kubala is the only player to play for 3 countries recognised by FIFA. Di Stefano also played for 3, but Colombia were not recognised by FIFA at the time. 29. Jimmy Rimmer is the only player to have won the European Cup with 2 different English clubs. 30. Ronaldo and Messi may have 4 Champions League trophies each, but they still need 2 more to match Francisco Gento. 31. Zlatan Ibrahimovic has played for 6 clubs that have won the Champions League, but he has never actually won the trophy himself. 32. Giuseppe Bergomi played in 4 World Cups but did not appear in any qualifiers. 33. Mario Balotelli's only ever Premier League assist for City was to set up that juicy, filthy, disgusting Aguero goal. 34. Gareth Bale once scored, assisted, scored an own goal and got a yellow card all in 1 Premier League game. 35. Asmir Begovic scored the furthest goal in football history against Southampton. 36. Brazilian Rogério Ceni holds the record for most goals as a goalkeeper, scoring 131 goals via free kicks, penalties and 1 from open play. 37. His highest scoring season was 21 goals in 2005. A year before he retired in 2015, he still managed 10 goals in the season, and 8 more in the year he finally hung up his gloves. And his boots, I guess, too. 38. Paraguayan Jose Luis Chilavert is the only keeper to ever score a hat-trick. 39. Peter Shilton played the most official games out of anyone, with a incredible 1,390. The first outfield player in this list is Roberto Carlos in 3rd. 40. In 2013, Alessandro Matri scored a goal for Juventus with his sock. 41. If you kick a free kick, goal kick, or throw a throw-in into your own net without it touching anyone, the other team gets a corner. 42. The amount of players to take spot kicks in the penalty shootout must be the same. So if one team had a player sent off earlier in the game, one player from the other team must sit out the shootout. 43. Nowhere in the rules does it state that only 2 people can contest a drop ball. So there's no actual reason why you can't have 22 players all kicking the shit out of each other. 44. A football game will be abandoned if one team ends up with fewer than 7 players on the field. But until recently, this had only been a recommendation and was entirely up to the referee. In 2002, Sheffield United got 3 people sent off and had 2 people go off injured. The referee abandoned the game and West Brom were awarded the 3 points for the game they were winning 3-0. 45. We all know if you head back to your keeper, he can pick it up. However, if you flick the ball up purposefully just to head it back to your keeper, you'll get booked for unsporting behaviour, also known as for being a proper d***head. And you'll also give away an indirect free kick. 46. A quick search on Twitter surprisingly reveals that a huge amount of people don't know that a player can't be offside from a goal kick. 47. If you miss a penalty and it rebounds off the goalpost or crossbar without touching anyone else, the penalty taker is not allowed to touch the ball until someone else has touched it, as it is considered passing to yourself. 48. In 1945, Arsenal played a friendly against Dynamo Moscow at an incredibly foggy White Hart Lane. Both teams took the opportunity to sneak extra players onto the pitch, with Moscow reportedly having 15 playing for them at one point. 49. In 1963, Lincoln vs Coventry was postponed due to bad weather. The game was called off a total of 15 times before eventually being played 66 days later. 50. The longest ever penalty shootout came in the 2005 Namibian Cup, after it took 48 spot kicks to settle the game. 51. In 1993, a small club called Congleton held a minute's silence to mourn the death of a fan. Turns out, the fan wasn't dead and actually walked into the ground to witness his own minute's silence. 52. In 1976, Chris Nicol managed to score all 4 goals in a 2-2 draw with Leicester City. 53. The current world record for most goals in an international match is 13, by Australia's Archie Thompson versus American Samoa in 2002. 54. Danish side Ebeltoft were once robbed of a draw after they scored in the last seconds of a game. The referee attempted to blow the final whistle just before their final attack, but the whistle made no noise as his false teeth had fallen out. Upon finding his teeth, he ruled out their equaliser and the game finished 4-3. 55. The Isles of Scilly Football League is the smallest league in the world, with just 2 teams who play each other 17 times a season. 56. In 1927, Manchester United bought Hugh McLenaghan from a financially struggling Stockport county. United actually donated a freezer full of ice cream to the club in exchange for them releasing McLenaghan from his contract. 57. Tottenham signed Jimmy Greaves from AC Milan for £99,999 just so he wouldn't feel under pressure of being the first ever £100,000 player. 58. The biggest win in world football was 149-0 in the Madagascan League. Every single goal was an own goal, as SOE protested a refereeing decision in their previous game. 59. Eternal third choice keeper Richard Wright once injured himself whilst warming up for Everton. He fell over a sign warning him not to practice in the goal mouth and twisted his ankle. 60. United's Alex Stepney once dislocated his jaw while shouting at his defenders. 61. Darius Vassell not only did a backwards roll in a match, but he also once drilled through his big toenail in a poor attempt to relieve the pressure from a swollen toe. 62. In 2015, Pogba's brother, Florentine, avoided nepotism and didn't vote for his brother with his 3 votes for the Ballon d'Or. 63. NSC Breda's full club name is actually, prepare yourself for this, I'm going to pronounce every single word wrong, Nut Obgeven Altij Dorgan Angenam Dor Vimak in Nuttig Dor Ordenspanning Combinati Breda. Yep, all good. Moving on. 64. While managing director at Birmingham City, Karen Brady sold her future husband to Stoke for 400 grand. They married a year later. 65. Scottish side St Johnstone is the only professional club in England and Scotland to have the letter J in their name. That should help you in a pub quiz one day. 66. Denmark won the 1992 Euros despite not even qualifying for it. They were told just 10 days before they could join after Yugoslavia were disqualified following the breakup of the country. 67. Real Madrid played against their own B team in the 1980 Copa del Rey final. 68. John Terry has more top-flight goals than Andreas Iniesta. 69. Nathan Blake and Herman Hreidarsson hold the record for being relegated from the Premier League 5 times. 5 times. Stop buying them. Who kept buying them after like the 3rd time? 70. Americans may call it soccer, but us English folk came up with the word. It's a shortened version of association football, and someone just added ER on the end as it sounds better than calling it sock. 71. The biggest ever stadium disaster was in 1964 when fans swarmed a game in Peru after disagreeing with a refereeing call. Police fired tear gas, which caused panic and a crush, killing 328 people. 72. Neil Armstrong wanted to take a proper football to the moon, but NASA said no because it wasn't very American. If NASA wanted something proper American on the moon, they should have given him cheese in a can or, I don't know, a somehow perfectly legal AR-15 gun designed to kill people. Political! 73. Lower league player Lee Todd was sent off after 2 seconds after exclaiming, "F me, that was loud," as the ref blew his whistle to kick off. 74. North Korea somehow made it to the 2010 World Cup, and so did their fans. Well, some of them. They were all handpicked by the government, and the other half of them were found out to be Chinese volunteers. 75. Greek player Georgios Katidis was given a life ban from football for celebrating with a Nazi salute after scoring. Like, what did you expect to happen after that? Like, are you mental? I mean, obviously, he is mental. 76. In the Congo, an entire 11 players from one team were killed by a lightning strike which left the opposing team completely unharmed. 77. 9 months after the 2006 World Cup, Germany experienced a baby boom of 30% compared to the year before. It sounds like not only goals were being banged in left, right and centre that summer, well hey, sexual intercourse. Nice. 78. We remain with the sexual intercourse. Nice. As 2 people snuck into Charlton's ground to do the deed on the centre circle. It turns out this was actually a hoax viral video by Charlton to advertise their pitch hire. There's only one thing that pitch is going to be hired out for now, mate. Orgy. 79. Jung Hwan scored the golden goal against Italy in the 2002 World Cup to send South Korea to the quarter-finals. The owner of Perugia, his club at the time, cancelled his contract because Jung Hwan had ruined Italian football, apparently. 80. Perugia are the only team to finish the season unbeaten and not win the title. They got relegated 2 years later. 81. A metal worker who worked on the Wembley Arch welded 2 Middlesbrough shirts into the highest section of it. 82. Manuel Neuer voiced this blue bastard in the German version of Monsters University. 83. Gary Lineker had a dodgy arse against Ireland in 1990 and ended up doing a cheeky little poop on the pitch. He now gets endless replies about it on Twitter, so if you could also go on Twitter after this and tweet at him, Keir Carlin told me you shat on a pitch. Did you shat on a pitch? Shat? On pitch? Yes? 90 plus 1 shats. 84. James Milner won PFA Young Player of the Year 8 years after his Premier League debut. 85. England have never beaten Algeria, Ghana, South Korea and Saudi Arabia. 86. Arsenal are the only team to receive a gold version of the Premier League trophy, after going unbeaten in the 2004 Invincible season. 87. Fernando Torres was the first man to score in 7 different club competitions. 88. Deceased ex-Labour leader Michael Foot was registered as an honorary player at his favourite club Plymouth Argyle for his 90th birthday, making him the oldest registered professional player in the history of football. 89. In a fact reminiscent of a Football Daily tweet, when Sweden play Denmark, it says Sweden in the top left of the TV screen. The remaining letters spell Denmark. The same happens with Cyprus and Russia. 90. Last year in the AFC Champions League, Al Ahly played against Al Ahly won and also lost. 91. In our last and incredibly random fact of the day, Alex Song has 17 sisters and 10 brothers. 17 sisters and 10 brothers. How can you have more siblings than I have fingers and toes? And that is all for this week. I hope you enjoyed something a bit more random. Be sure to subscribe, comment, and smash that like button, boy. You get me, fam. In it, blood, sick, 0161, Manny on the map.